Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Saint Germain's finale, chapter 13, Promise.
かつて私は罪を犯した。
Yay, we're into another monologue and it's voice acted, so I don't have to read it. Anyway, we left off in chapter 12 where, what's her name? Omnibus and Guinevere learned of Saint Germain's betrayal and that he's going to take out all of Idea for the sake of living with Cardia, or for the sake of Cardia living a happy life, which she obviously doesn't want unless he's in it. And this chapter is going to be another intense chapter as well, so let's get started. Okay, in the past, she committed a crime. This is Guinevere talking.
愛するべきものを愛することができず、愛してはいけないものを愛したこと、それが私の罪。私の名はギネビア。ブリタニアの伝説に歌われる英雄王、円卓の騎士を率いた騎士王アーサーの妃。夫は誰もが理想の王と仰ぐ英雄の名にふさわしい偉大な王だった。当然、理想の王たる者の妃として私もまた理想の王妃であることを望まれた。それを苦痛だと思ったことはただの一度もない。国を治める彼を傍らで支え、命尽きるまで共に生きていく。それが私の人生だと信じて、私はアーサーと共にあり続けた。だけど今思えば、私が彼に抱いていたその感情は愛ではなかったのかもしれない。人並みの恋と愛を望むには、アーサーはあまりにも完璧で、あまりにも高潔すぎた。だから私が彼に抱いていたのは、きっと愛ではなく尊敬と憧れ。だからこそ愚かな私は夫以外のものに心惹かれてしまったのだろう。円卓の騎士の一人、誰よりも王への忠誠心にあふれた湖の騎士サー・ランスロット。私は彼を愛してしまった。そして不幸なことに、彼も私に心惹かれてしまった。その道を外れた恋こそが、国と円卓を割る戦のきっかけ。結果的にその恋は国を滅ぼす恋となった。巻き起こった戦の中で、私は愛するべきだった夫を、アーサーを亡くし、私が愛したランスロットは多くの者に狙われる身となった。その意味で、私とサンジェルマンは同じなのだろう。するべきことを果たさず、多くを失ってしまったという意味で。だから必然だったのかもしれない。自分の犯した罪に絶望した私が崖から身を投げたその後、死にゆく私の前にあの男が現れたのは。
救って差し上げましょうか。
彼は名前を名乗らなかった。名前に意味などないと笑いながら。
It's Saint Germain.
あえて名乗るならば、運命の使者とでも言うのでしょうか。
運命のならば、あなたは天使、それとも悪魔。
私は人ですよ。悲しいくらいただの人です。王妃ギネビア、あなたはオムニブスにイデアの一員として選ばれました。不老不死の呪いを受け入れる素質を持った器としてね。
I think it's kind of ironic how
そん
he's
な
the
も
one
の
that
に
saved
興味は
her.
なかった。夫は死に、国は乱れ、ランスロットは去った。そんな世に生きる意味などあるだろうか。私はもう疲れた。ただこのまま死にたいだけ。そう答えた私の言葉に、彼は驚きもせずうなずいた。
ではこのような条件ならいかがでしょうか。もしあなたが永遠に人々を正しき歴史に導く使命を負うというのなら、あなたの願いを一つだけ叶えましょう。
永遠の命はどうでもいいが、もし一つだけ叶うならば、私のために名誉を失った一人の騎士の救済を願いたい。もともとランスロットには何の罪もない。主の妻を思うだけならば、それは罪ではない。罪があるとすれば、その愛に応えてしまった私自身の方なのだから。
Some people might disagree that it is a crime to love the wife of your master, especially back in those times.
そう、それが私がイデアの使徒になった経緯。オムニブスが目指すのは、人々を正しい歴史に導くこと。正しい道を踏み外した私にとって、それこそが贖罪になると信じて。そして私には不死の呪いと力を引き出す呪具が与えられた。円卓の騎士を破滅に導いた私にとって、皮肉としか思えない騎士鎧の呪具。それをまとった私は、イデアの一員としてオムニブスの任務を遂行し続けた。正しき歴史のためにと任務に従事する一時だけが、それだけが罪に焼かれる私の心を癒してくれたから。
And now she's going to be on a mission to fight Saint Germain.
今さら過去を思っても、失ったものはもう戻らない。私はもう二度と過ちを犯すわけにはいかない。アイザックの呪われた娘、カルディア。地下施設でのことをふと思い出してしまう。あのサンジェルマンが彼女を守ろうとしたとき、そして彼女がサンジェルマンを守ろうとしたとき、私の剣にはなぜか一瞬だけ迷いが生じた。
Because two people love each other, she hesitated. Because she's reflecting herself in that situation.
それは
You know why.
私は記憶を振り払うように首を横に振った。人類が本来の歴史を逸脱するとき、必ず大きな災厄が起きる。私の役目は最悪の鍵となりうるあの娘を殺すこと。たとえあの娘自身には何の罪もなかったとしても。そろそろね。近づいてきた足音が止まる。私はそちらに瞳を向け、その人物へと微笑んでみせた。
Is it Saint Germain?
遅かったわね。随分と待たされたわ。そこに立っていたのは、私をイデアへと導いたその人。イデアの使徒をすでに4人もほふった滞在人にして最大の裏切り者。サンジェルマン。
He just smiles.
まるで私を待ち構えるように森の中、彼女は立っていた。
I think it's funny that it just goes from one perspective to another, and they just voice the whole thing. Like, I don't have to read any of it.
イデアを構成する13人の使徒のうち、間違いなく最強の一人、悲劇の王妃、ギネビア。
ここに来るまでにもう4人使徒を殺したそうね。
ええ、必要なことでしたから。
驚嘆に値するわ。使徒をこの数日でよくも。
Days, huh?
あなたは一体その剣で何千の命を奪ったのかしらね。
ご冗談を。彼らも私たちと同じ死人でしょう。命など初めから持っていませんよ。
そうね。私たちの生ははるか昔に終わっている。そんな死人が聖者の歴史を導いているんだから、なんだかおかしな話ね。
That is kind of
不意
funny.
でも撃てればと思ったが、彼女の目は油断なく私を見据えていた。
それで次は私の番というわけかしら。
ええ、あなたの力は使徒の中でも群を抜いている。逆に言えば、あなたさえ倒せば彼女の危険は大幅に減ってくれる。
It's funny, he went from killing like 4 apostles that are probably bottom of the chain to going to the top of the chain. It's just going to take out Guinevere. But that's not really his choice, I guess. Omnibus sent her so to stop him, so he has no choice but to fight her now. Better do it now while you kind of still have regenerative powers left.
だから私はあなたを倒します。壊れかけたこの体がまだ動くうちに、私が軽く笑って一歩を踏み出すと、ギネビアは静かに目を細めた。
分かっているの。あなたがしていることの意味を。もしこの先あなたが全ての人を殺したとしても、あなたも確実に死ぬのよ。その勝利を祝う余裕もなくね。
承知の上です。もとより私のための勝利ではありません。それに我々イデアの使徒にとって死はむしろ救いでしょう。
そうね。確かにそう。
私たちは自重気味に笑い合う。不死者同士の空虚な笑いが響いた後、ギネビアは首を振った。
誰よりも忠実だったあなたが これほどの裏切りに手を染めるなんて。
世界の未来のためではなく、ただ彼女の未来のため、それだけの違いですよ。
変わったわね。
かもしれません。私はギネビアに微笑んでみせる。彼女は表情を消して私を見据えていた。
愛するべきではない相手を愛することは不幸を招くものよ。
愛するべきでないかどうかはあなたが決めるものではありません。答えが気に入りませんか？
いいえ、ただ羨ましいだけ。
It's funny he says unsatisfactory instead of funny.
変わることができたあなたがね。
自分の心を鎧うようにギネビアはゆっくりと兜をかぶる。彼女の全身に力がみなぎる様子がはっきりと分かった。
他の人との戦いで随分と消耗したのではなくて、サンジェルマン、あなたはあと何度死ねるの？
さあ、試してみてはいかがです？もっともその前に私があなたを殺しますがね。
長い戦いになりそう。
その言葉を皮切りに互いが互いの存在を抹消しようと武器を構え。
They both take up their weapons. Her and Saint Germain. It feels like I'm watching it play. It's kind of funny. Battle to the death.
そして長い戦いが始まった。
Now we go back to Cardi's perspective. This is several. Okay, now we're going back in time, several days before this battle begins. After my encounter with Saint Germain at Tower Bridge, I still can't move after being drugged, so I lean against the handrail of the bridge. Okay, so we went kind of forward in time to foreshadow what's going to happen. And now we're back at Tower Bridge, I guess, where she still can't move. I guess someone's going to come rescue her. Or it's the next day. All I could do was watch in frustration as the sun rises. But the time I'm finally able to move again, the sun has already pulled itself up from the horizon. I'm surprised no one found her that whole night. Like, I'm sure everyone else was looking for her, and they never found her. That's kind of scary to think about it. You could have been dead that... like, you could have died during all that time. Morning has arrived. Saint Germain, where are you? He did that just so he can run away from you. I'm running through the street where people have begun to emerge and call his name. People give me odd looks, but I don't care. Where are you? I cling to a sliver of hope that Saint Germain may be nearby, and I run and run, calling out to him until I am hoarse. But really, I know more than anyone that he wouldn't be here. Saint Germain. My legs are tired and my voice weakens and trails off. Saint Germain is gone. He left me and went off to fight alone. Why? He said that my smile is what made me happy. He said that he would give his life to protect it, but giving your life won't make me happy at all. There's no way I can smile when you're not here. I fall to my knees and begin to sob. What can I possibly do to save him? After a while, I stagger back to where we are staying, where Lupin and the others welcome me but are surprised that I left. I know, Lupin just let you leave. It seems they just realized I was missing and were about to go out looking in the city for me. Some guard dogs you guys are. I just let her leave. I didn't even notice she was gone all night. They all seem relieved to see me in one piece, but they are a bit upset that I took action alone. Of course they are.
まさかお前がここまでバカだとはな。先日の単独行動で懲りたかと思っていれば、またこれか。
I'm sorry.
きっとそれだけの理由があったんだろうけど。
Then Victor, the ever optimistic.
とりあえず何があったのか教えてもらえるかな。
I nodded and began to tell them one thing at a time. I told them about Omnibus and how she spoke to me about the organization called Idea. I told them about Saint Germain's true identity. It was no coincidence that all of us had been brought together and that the Count had set up so that we would meet.
ね、は？俺たちが出会ったのが全部サンちゃんの差し金？嘘でしょ？
いや、僕は帰って納得したよ。世紀の大泥棒、戦争の英雄、天才技師、吸血鬼の血を継ぐ者。
They didn't say anything about Delhi. I'm sure he was just mere coincidence.
そして何より、ホロロギウムを持つアイザックの娘。
And Impy is not the heir to the vampire throne, so we didn't even include Impy in this. That's kind of funny.
これだけの人物が自然と集まるはずがない。偶然にしてはできすぎてるからね。
伯爵が裏で糸を引いていたとすれば納得できるか。
He's mostly just mumbling to himself. I nodded at Van Helsing's words, then Victor asked me to continue my story. Omnibus told me that I had to go to Tower Bridge alone if I ever wanted to see Saint Germain again. I met Saint Germain there and we exchanged some words. Then Saint Germain decided to turn against Idea to protect me. As a traitor, Saint Germain's immortality would be taken away from him, and in the little time that he has left before his demise, he has gone off to fight the rest of Idea's apostles by himself. As I tell them these details, they all remain silent. Van Helsing is the first to speak up once I am done.
話は分かった。いろいろと思うところはあるが、私たちが意見を口にする前に、まずはお前の意見を聞いておきたい。カルディア、お前はどうするつもりだ？
I take a deep breath and look around at the others. As they stare at me, I press one hand against my chest and speak. If I just sit here and wait in silence, there is a chance that Saint Germain will end it all for me. Idea's apostles may be destroyed and I may no longer be threatened, but Saint Germain will definitely die. I clench my fist so tight that my nails dig into my palms. I don't want the memory of his face, that last smile he showed me, to fade away and be lost forever. I can't accept that. There is no way I can accept that.
ならば、策があるのか？
It's not much, but I'm thinking of meeting directly with Omnibus to talk to her about saving Saint Germain. Everyone looks at me with wide eyes. Simply stopping Saint Germain will still lead to his eventual demise. If I can hope for any good outcome, this is the only way there is.
待った待った。簡単に言うけど、交渉なんてできるわけ？世界を裏で牛耳ってる組織の一番偉いやつが相手なんでしょ？
ビクトリア相手よりずっと難しいだろうね。
Yes, if I was on my own, I probably wouldn't even be able to reach Omnibus. That's why I know it's a lot to ask, but I need your help. Can you please help me save Saint Germain? Please. There is a brief silence. It seems like they're all on the fence about it.
ダメだ。
No. I look up at him in surprise at this unexpected rejection from him. Lupin had been quiet all this time, but now he's looking at me suspiciously. Lupin.
え？ルパン？マジで言ってんの？彼女、ここまで頭下げてんだぜ。ここは紳士らしくうなずいて。 仲間を信用しないやつに協力なんかできるわけがねえだろ。
Lupin walks towards me with a stern expression. He stops right in front of me and stares into my eyes.
カルディア、お前どうして昨日の時点で俺たちに話さなかった？
Omnibus told her not to tell you. You can't blame her for that. That's because Omnibus told me not to.
そいつは分かってる。妙な力を持ってるってこともな。たとえそのまま言えなくても、その時冷静に考えてりゃ、いろいろと方法はあったはずだろう。
If the others had been with me back there, if they had been with me, I might have been able to stop Saint Germain. I hang my head in shame at this realization. I'm sorry.
お前を大切に思ってるのはサンだけじゃねえ。俺たちだって一緒なんだ。だから俺たちを仲間と思うならきちんと話をしてくれ。
Yes. I nod, then Lupin takes a deep breath and laughs, lightening up. He's like, what am I going to do with you? I think it's kind of cute that he takes this to heart more than anyone else because of his feelings that he can't share with her, but he's like, no, I'm not doing anything for you to trust me more. You're giving me a heart attack.
まあそもそも一番悪いのはいろいろ黙ってやがったサンだからな。全部終わったらあいつを一発殴る。それでチャラにしてやるよ。
I think he really does punch him in the fan disc. Or he at least yells at him. I know that much because I went back to just kind of fast forward through part of Saint Germain's to figure out if what I was talking about yesterday was true. And then I saw some flashbacks of what I remember, and I was like, okay, so it is true. But yeah, I cut out some commentary about Lupin yelling at Saint Germain and saying that you better man up and take care of her type of thing, because I found out that was in the fan disc. And I was like, well, that doesn't happen in this one, so I need to take that out. I've actually thought about recording some of the fan disc on the side in between these videos. I don't know if there's actual chapters in there or not, because I can't go back and like pick a certain chapter. So I don't know how long they are, but I thought about recording some in between this and having them like ready to release like after this is over, because I think it'd be fun to actually read the fan disc as well, since Saint Germain has more of an ending in that one. Van Helsing has more of an ending in that one. Like the only route so far where her poison's been cured is Victor's. So they kind of have like a happy ending route in the fan disc, and everyone else, they're still trying to solve her problem. So in a way, it's kind of a continuation, but except they're together now and they don't have to go through this whole falling in love bit. I suppose. Lupin's consideration is heartwarming. I do my best to smile, then Victor and the others sigh in relief.
ならば決まりだな。私も伯爵には一言言ってやりたい。ここは協力してやろう。
You want a word or do you want to punch into?
当然、僕も協力するよ。インピーは
Impy's always on board. You never have to ask him if he's on board with Cardia.
聞くまでもないっしょ。マイプリンセスの頼みを俺が断るわけないじゃん。
See? I was about to make a big mistake. I'm not the only one worried about Saint Germain. Everyone is just as concerned about him. Thank you guys. A warm emotion swells up inside my empty heart.
となれば、まず私たちはオムニブスの居場所を探すか。
ああ、 カルディア、お前は疲れてるだろうから少し休んどけ。
But
でもじゃねえよ。オムニブスとやらと交渉するのはお前の役目なんだ。そこで失敗すりゃ全てが水の泡だから、サンを救う方法を今から全力で考えておけ。そうそう、交渉の場までは俺たちが絶対に連れて行くからさ。
alright. After talking about the next moves, Lupin and the others get to work. I let out a small sigh, then look around me. I catch sight of Deli sitting in a corner of the room, not saying anything. What's the matter, Deli? You've been so quiet.
いや、
Deli looks at me, apparently undecided about something. Then he looks up at the ceiling and says it in a small voice.
お前たちは、お前は人間の割にはいいやつだ。よとしても心情的にはお前に協力してやりたいと思う気持ちもある。
He's so cute.
だが、すまぬ。世にはやらねばならぬことができたのだ。
Something you have to do? I ask him curious and he nods curtly.
実はつい先ほどまでルパンたちと話していたのだがな。イギリス北部の地に吸血鬼の生き残りがいるとの噂があるらしい。
What?
それが事実かは分からぬ。単なる誤報の可能性もある。
He looks almost sorry to leave.
だがもし事実ならば、世は吸血鬼の王を継ぐ者として是が非でも確かめに行かねばならぬ。だから。
I smile gently as Deli trails off, having some difficulty finding the right words. I'll be fine. Thank you so much for your help. Have a safe trip, Deli. I hope we get to meet again when it's all over.
ああ、約束しよう。ヘルシングとの件もまだ決着したわけではないからな。
Deli looks at me, then opens his mouth several times in an attempt to say something. Then he closes his eyes and speaks quietly.
もしお前が人の世界に絶望してしまうことがあれば、世のもとへ参じるがよい。
That's funny. Are you going to turn her into a vampire?
世が責任を持って庇護しよう。
Can you even turn a homunculus into a vampire? I'm actually curious. I'm grateful for everyone's kindness. I watch from the window as they all leave our lodgings and slowly shut my eyes. The image of Saint Germain's face floats into my mind. His face when he opened up to me about his true feelings and wept. He must have always been crying like that behind his smile. Ever since the incident that caused the Black Plague several hundred years ago, he's been crying and yet unable to release his tears. Hold on, Saint Germain. I will save you. Determined, I start thinking, what do I have that I can use as ammunition when speaking with Omnibus? For several days after that, I have to wait patiently. Lupin left first, saying that he had a lead to follow. The others leave afterwards, and soon everyone is running around investigating Omnibus. Victor is looking for information through a connection in the Royal Society. Van Helsing is looking into traces of Idea throughout London's criminal underground. MP is my bodyguard. He's been saying that if any of the Idea apostles who are left appear, he'll capture and question them, but luckily or unluckily, there has been no sign of the apostles so far. As all this has been taking place, I've been racking my brain trying to think of how I can negotiate with Omnibus. I'll be up against a guardian of history who has been controlling the world from behind the scenes for thousands of years. I don't think she'll change her ways if I simply ask politely. So far, everything is Omnibus's court is in. I don't have a single card to play that I could use to get her to agree with me. If only there was something. Something that can make Omnibus flinch. If only I had something that I could use against her that I could use to possibly manipulate her. I don't think that's gonna work. Even as my mind scrambles to find a solution, the others make no progress with their investigations over the next several days. It's been like 30 minutes of thinking and nothing's happened yet. I wonder if this route's going to be like 2 hours or if it's just going to like cram it onto like a 5-minute fight. But even if we do locate Omnibus, I don't have any means to negotiate with her, so there's nothing I can do anyway. Even now, Saint Germain must be... I know saying these things won't improve the situation one bit, but I grow restless that I can't think straight. Suddenly there is a knock at the door. Yes?
普段だけど、入ってもいいかな。
Hold on. Victor, you don't look so well. Are you alright?
うん、心配しないで。ちょっと寝てないだけだから。
As Victor enters the bedroom, I notice dark circles under his eyes. I can see at a glance that he's been working nonstop for the past few days. So what is it? Did you find something while you were investigating?
残念ながら。でも、伝えておきたいことがあるんだ。
As he says this, he takes something familiar out of his pocket. I know she got touched by that, and nothing's happened to her since then, only in Victor's route. A beautiful pendant in the glass case. Is that Finis's pendant?
うん。このペンダントについて、空いた時間に少しずつ調べていたんだけど。
I find it weird how Finis only has like a main plot in Lupin's route, because I thought that he was like around more often than this, but he just dies in every other route.
結論から言って、僕の推論は合ってたみたい。
That this pendant and the horologium are connected?
そう。これはまず間違いなく、ホロロギウムを賢者の石にするためのキーアイテムだ。
The Philosopher's Stone. I remember when I picked up the pendant in the underground facility. The sensation I felt like the horologium had been pulsating. It didn't amount to much as Victor had intervened, but just thinking about it frightens me.
あの時も説明したけど、賢者の石が完成してしまえば、君の毒はもう手がつけられない。だからこのペンダントは事故を防ぐ意味でも廃棄する方がいいのかもしれないね。
He shakes his head as he says this, then tucks the pendant into his shirt. Right when he does this, I stop him, calling out, "Wait, Victor. If that pendant is brought close to me, my horologium will turn into a Philosopher's Stone?"
理論的にはね。
He's like, I don't like where this is going. Then, Victor, can I borrow that pendant?
貸してって何に使うつもりなの？
I might be able to use it in speaking with Omnibus. His face grows tense in an instant. He shakes his head with a stern look, having obviously guessed my intentions.
もし君が僕の予感通りのことをするつもりだとしたら
She's like, listen to me or I will unleash the monster inside.
それは絶対に賛成できない。あまりにも危険すぎる。
But I won't be able to save Saint Germain unless I have that kind of resolve. Please, Victor, let me have the pendant. I can use this pendant and myself as a trump card in my discussion with Omnibus. The method I'm thinking of is definitely a dangerous one. One mistake could lead to a catastrophe. Oh, poor Victor. He's like, I don't want to be a part of this. Victor looks down at the pendant with a bitter expression, perhaps because he knows what I'm thinking as well.
君はそうまでして伯爵のことを。
Yes, she's in love with him. Saint Germain risked his life to save me, and he's probably risking his life at this very moment. That's why it's my turn. It's my turn to risk my life to save him. The long drawn-out silence is a direct reflection of Victor's indecision. But eventually, he silently nods, giving in.
わかった。でも少し時間をもらえるかな。君がこれを持ち歩けるようにケースを用意するからさ。
Thank you, that would be helpful. so that way she doesn't touch it. Just as I sigh in relief, there is a rough knock on the door. Who is it?
俺だ、ルパンだ。見つかったぞ。イデアの本拠地が。
Open up. I hadn't seen him around for the past few days. It looks like he'd gone all the way to my old home in Wales. Oh my goodness.
フィーニスの口ぶりからすると、アイザックはイデアのことについて何か知ってるみたいだったからな。で、予想はドンピシャ。屋敷で見つかったのがこれだ。
Lupin presents us with a slightly worn leather-bound notebook. Most of the letters written in it seem to be gibberish, but the writing itself looks familiar. This is father's handwriting.
つまりアイザックの手記ということか。
ああ、どうもこいつはイデアに関しての研究メモらしい。暗号化されてて解読には苦労したが、イデアの本拠地の場所も書いてある。
Lupin spreads out his translation of the book in front of us, and we all look at them. In western Britain, in the depths of the forest that those on Earth refer to as the Forest of Fog.
ああ、そこにイデアの本拠地がある。十中八九、間違いね。
I was wondering if she was going to go there. I was like, I remember her meeting Omnibus in her little cottage, but I don't know if that was the fan disc or not. Dang it, fan disc, you're interfering in my thoughts throughout this whole game. That's where Omnibus is.
カルディア。イデアの居場所が見つかったのはいいが、お前の準備はできているのか？
そうだよな。最終的には交渉が成功するかどうかだし。
I'm not totally confident, but I have a plan for our discussion. I explained the details of the plan I came up with to them. The reactions are the same as Victor's. The more I explain, the sterner their faces grow.
自分の身を交渉の手札に使うって、マジで言ってんの？
賛成できねえな。それはお前の身が危険すぎる。
Lupin is especially against the idea, but please, there's really no other way. In any case, there isn't enough time left for us to explore another option. In the end, everyone reluctantly agrees to cooperate. A few hours later, after some preparations, we all leave our lodgings, heading towards the headquarters of IDEA. Perhaps it's because we decided to board at the last minute. We have to sit apart from one another on the train on our way to our destination. Lupin is the only one seated next to me. As I let the train's motions rock me gently, I think about what's to come. I'm going to speak with Omnibus in order to preserve Saint Germain's life. I have no idea if everything will go according to my plan, but I know for certain that my life will be at risk during this negotiation, even worse, there's no guarantee that I will be coming back to the others. Hey, Lupin. I slowly shift my gaze to Lupin, who is looking out the window. Thank you for saving me.
いきなりだな。突然どうした？
I just had to tell you. If you hadn't stolen me away that day, I wouldn't be here right now.
俺がお前を盗み出したのは自分のためだ。礼なんていらねえよ。
I stole you because I wanted to. Make her sound like an object. Lupin grimaces and shakes his head, then goes back to looking out the window. Still looking away, he speaks quietly, as if a thought had just occurred to him.
迷いや恐怖があるなら逃げてもいいんだぞ。
Lupin's so cute. He's saying, like, you don't have to go through this. You could just stay with me. He's afraid of losing her. What?
お前が今逃げたとしても誰も文句を言ったりしねえ。
This kind of sounds like when Saint Germain was like, if you're uncertain, I'll take you back to the others right now. No one's going to blame you. He's like, certainly not me, who intends to kill you after this date.
もし文句を言う奴がいても、俺がそいつを黙らせて、お前を連れて逃げてやってもいい。
Oh, he's so adorable. We have a little love triangle going on in this one. Lupin looks straight at me. If I agreed to it right now, he would probably take me somewhere far away like he did before. But I shake my head from side to side. Thank you for looking out for me, Lupin. But it's fine. I've thought this through and made a decision on my own.
そうか。本当にいいんだな。
Oh, he looks so worried.
下手をすればお前はこの先、人のぬくもりを感じるどころか。
Except for Saint Germain, who can endure her poison. It's fine. Saint Germain showed me what it's like to touch another person. Aw. I look over at Lupin and smile. Saint Germain touched me. Despite my poison, he took my hand. He put my hand to his cheek and said it was warm. That's why I'm all right. I'm not afraid anymore.
そうか。先越されちまったな。
Oh, poor Lupin. Don't worry, you'll get your chance at the next route. His route's really sweet too. I think Lupin's my second favorite because I really like the gentlemanly persona. Victor's really sweet, and I like the shy, stuttering love interest too. But I don't know. There's just something about the gentleman and always calling people lady and being all formal. I really like that type. Lupin directs his gaze absent-mindedly at the train's ceiling. I look at him again. Thank you for looking out for me, Lupin.
お前、さっきからありがとうって言ってばっかだな。
You've done so much for me. I really can't say it enough.
そうか。
He falls silent and continues watching the scenery go by outside the window. I open my mouth to speak once more, but hold back the words that I want to say. At the moment, it feels like no words are necessary at all. Nope. We leave the train at the station closest to our destination, then continue on foot for a while. By the time we enter the area described as the Forest of Fog on Father's notes, it's almost dusk. So this is where Idea. Reddish light shines through the trees, branches, and leaves, somehow making everything look eerie. None of us have spoken since we entered the forest. Even Impy, who is always going on about something, has been very quiet today. Everyone is probably nervous, thinking about what is to come. I don't know how long we walk. As the forest's name suggests, a dense fog begins to surround us. As the sky grows darker, the fog grows thicker. Soon there is so much fog around us that I can't see anything.
おいおいおい、なんだよこの霧。
She's going to separate Cardia again, just like she did before.
お前たち、下手に離れるなよ。
We call out to each other as we continuously move forward. Then, the fog suddenly clears and the forest atmosphere shifts dramatically. I gasp at the scene that suddenly appears before me. The sun completely set while we were walking through that fog. It's completely dark now. The trees stand tall, blocking out any light coming through. I'm still barely able to make out my surroundings, perhaps because some faintly luminous bubble-like things float nearby. It's kind of pretty. It's like we're deep underwater. I turn around to see if anyone else agrees with me. However, Lupin and the others are nowhere to be seen. Nope, she separated you. There's just an endless row of trees. The people who have been there a moment ago suddenly disappear. And the scene in the forest has a dreamlike quality? I felt this before. Could it be Omnibus? As if to answer my question, a glowing butterfly flutters my way. After circling me twice, the butterfly slowly flies ahead into the forest. Are you telling me to follow you? I know all too well how dangerous it can be to act on my own, but I can't see any of my friends, no matter how hard I look around. If this is Omnibus's doing, waiting here won't do me any good. I guess I have no choice. I mark a spot on the tree next to me just in case, then cautiously start walking through the forest after the butterfly. I don't know how long I've been walking, but I see a bright sunny spot up ahead. What is that? Everything around me indicates that it's nightfall, yet just that one spot is lit brightly. I look around cautiously as I follow along the butterfly guiding my path. I timidly step into the spot of sunlight. A sudden gust of wind stirs the air around me, and then everything changes. The next thing I know, I'm standing in front of a wooden house. The yard is filled with flowers. Everything looks like it's in a peaceful daylight, making me almost doubt that I was ever in a forest at night. Is this Idea's headquarters? This seems far too peaceful. It doesn't seem like the place where an organization that has been controlling history would be located at all. It's just some old woman's house. If she wants this to be her headquarters, this is her headquarters. I mean, no one can find it, so. Did I just hear a dog bark? Yeah. I turn around and see a dog. It's far larger than Cece, almost as tall as me. You're such a big dog. Where did you come from? The dog runs up to me and lowers his head as if trying to scare me away. It begins shoving his head against my hip, pushing at me. Huh? Whoa. The dog continues to push me towards the house, and I arrive at a terrace at one corner of the building. After nudging me to this place where a cool breeze blows, the dog runs off looking satisfied. This is... I hear the sound of something creaking. How long has she been there? A woman is right in front of me, smiling kindly.
いらっしゃい。こんな偏僻な場所へようこそ。歩いて疲れたでしょ。お茶でもいかが？
As if she was expecting my arrival, a tea setting is laid out on the table on her veranda, giving off comforting steam. Yeah, she can predict the future. I talked about how knowing the future can be like a lonely endeavor and stuff like that. It's not that she knows the future. She can predict the future, which means the future can change even if she thinks something or knows something is supposed to happen, because no one actually knows the future. And when some obstacle like Saint Germain suddenly changes his mind, it could change your outcome. That's something I was going to add in like a caption at the top. I was like, it doesn't really matter. Omnibus. Though I am momentarily frightened, I glare at her. Saint Germain's life lies in her hands, and she's the very person who wants me killed. No matter how tranquil she may be making things seem, I can't let my guard down.
リリス、案内をありがとう。
She speaks to the dog from before. Lilith the dog barks once in response.
私はこれから彼女と大事な話があるから。リリス、あなたは家に戻っていなさい。
Lilith hurriedly leaves, following Omnibus's quiet instructions. As I stand there, dumbfounded, Omnibus turns back to me and smiles.
まさか会いに来るとは。良い仲間のおかげかしら。
You should have predicted this though, right? Obviously, she's just not gonna let Saint Germain die. We're here to negotiate. Thanks. Where are they anyway? I'm assuming it's your doing that I've been separated from the rest of them.
ええ、その通り。彼らにはもうしばらく森で迷っていてもらうわ。
You're gonna give them all a heart attack, especially Lupin.
私が受け入れたのはあなたであって、
他の人ではないのだから。
Finding out that the others are all right causes me to discreetly sigh in relief, but there's no time for me to play along with her. Even as we speak, Saint Germain is growing closer and closer to death. There's one thing I'd like to ask. What's happening to Saint Germain right now?
3ね。
She swirls the tea in her cup, then looks down at the amber liquid.
あの子は私が差し向けた人をことごとく打ち倒している。そして今はギネビアと戦っているわ。
Guinevere?
もう今日で何日目かしら。不死者の戦いは長く続くとはいえ、
Oh my goodness.
今回は随分と長いわ。
Been fighting for days.
それだけ互いの実力が拮抗しているということね。
I know firsthand how terrifying Guinevere is. Saint Germain has been fighting such a terrible enemy for days on end. Just imagining what must be transpiring makes my chest ache.
そんな顔をしなくても戦いはもうじき終わるわ。
That's just gonna make her worry more, because then she's gonna be like, who's gonna win?
三の不死はもう以前の残死に過ぎない。このまま死を重ねればいずれその命も尽きることでしょう。
Then there's no time. I'm going to cut to the chase. I grip my fist tightly. I look straight into Omnibus's eye, which have a strange glow about them. Omnibus, please help Saint Germain. I'd like you to give back the immortality that you took from him.
ずいぶんと虫のいい話ね。
She's like, oh, I'm sure you would. She takes a sip from her tea with a troubled expression. She slowly pieces her words together as if scolding a stubborn grandchild.
彼はイデアとしての使命を放棄し、使徒を4人も殺害した裏切り者。私が命をつないであげる理由なんてどこにも見当たらないわ。
Her reaction is just as I'd expected. You should have phrased it differently. From the perspective of Idea, Saint Germain turned his back on them. There's no way she would listen to a direct request like this.
それに、あなたは他人の命の心配なんてしている場合ではないでしょう。あなたもサンと同様、死ななければならない運命にある。そうすることでしか正しき歴史に人を導くことはできないのだから。
The correct path. I look up at Omnibus and glare at her after hearing her one-sided argument. I feel my voice taking a harsher tone, but I have no intent of softening it. Only people in the future will know what that correct path is. What you're talking about isn't what's correct for the sake of the world. It's just how you yourself think is correct.
もしそうならどんなに良かったかしら。
Omnibus sighs in response to my threatening tone.
あなたに言っても理解できないでしょうけれど、私は昔人には許されていない禁断の果実を口にしたの。
Are you Eve in the garden?
それは私に神の知恵の一部をもたらした。それ以降、私は人の歩む歴史のすべてが見えている。見えてしまっている。
She quietly continues her story. There is no doubt in her eyes, and her voice is a matter of fact, speaking only the truth.
私は誰よりもよく知っている。人の紡ぐ歴史がどれだけ脆く、すぐに間違ってしまうのかを。 それが見えてしまうからこそ黙っているわけにはいかなかった。
So you're saying that's why you created idea?
ええ、現在を抱える私たちを神が救済してくれるその日まで導いていくための組織、それがイデア。
She smiles slightly, seeing that I'm at a loss for words.
カルディア、あなたはとても大きな計画の一部として作られた。アイザックが企んでいたその計画は我々の手で未然に防いだけれど、
See, she says this, but she's already killed Isaac and she's already killed Finnis. So who's going to put the plan to use if both of those people are dead? She doesn't even know what it is. How can she do anything?
あなたの存在自体がすでに人に許されない禁断の領域にあるのよ。
So she's just going to kill her because she's a taboo, because she's a thing that shouldn't exist. You're just going to kill her because she's alive. Because I will cause destruction. I mean, if she eventually blows up, I guess, but still. Is that why you want me to die along with Saint Germain?
逆らうのはあなたの自由よ。
Her response to my desperate question is far from what I would have expected. I look up in surprise, but Omnibus is just staring at me silently.
でもね、カルディア、これだけは覚えておいて。サウンは昔、一度だけ市場を優先し、私の言葉に従わなかった。そのために、このヨーロッパの人口の3分の1が死んだの。想像してごらんなさい。3人に1人が死んだの。例えばルパン、バン、フラン、インピー。この中で誰か1人が確実に死ぬとしたらどう思う？
Her words wrap around me like some sort of spell. Although she said that I have the choice of resisting, this is no different from a threat.
サウンはその愚行を今また繰り返そうとしている。あなたもその事実を知りながらなお生きながらよというのなら同罪でしょう。
My knees grow weak as Omnibus fixes her eyes on me. She hasn't even used the pendant trump card yet either. I lurch forward and fall to my knees, hitting the ground with my hands. The earth in my hands remind me of a sensation I felt before. That horrible sensation of the poison in these hands burning away at his life. But under that terrible feeling, I also felt the warmth coming from his skin. And
あなたが生きていないのなら私もそうです。あなたが生きる価値がないのなら私もそうなのです。だからどうかそんなに悲しいことを言わないでください。
the feeling of his face as he said that. Oh, so sad. He's like, what? I steady my trembling legs and stand up and glare at the old woman. Still, I'm going to reject your predictions. Nothing is certain in this world. I won't believe your prophecy of destruction.
そう、立派な覚悟ね。けれど愚かだわ。
I don't care if I'm foolish, but I'll have you help Saint Germain no matter what it takes. It's scary.
怖い顔。でも脅しても無駄よ。ここにいる私は幻影のようなものだから。
Are you so scared of her that you can't even be in front of her in person? You're wrong. There is one way. I put my hand on my chest and take a step closer to Omnibus. The reason you want me dead is because there's a chance that I might create something God's forbidden, the Philosopher's Stone.
そうよ。賢者の石は神の禁忌に触れる知恵の実。
She's like, oh yeah, well if you don't listen to me, I'm going to create it.
私はこれに至るあらゆる可能性を排除しなければいけないわ。世の人々を守るために。
She's smiling all satisfactory to her. I see. Then I suppose I'm a hazard to you, something you fear.
何を企んでいるの？
I take a small case out of my pocket. It contains the pendant from Venice. The pendant sparkles under the light.
それは。
Oh my goodness. She is very fearful of that. For the first time, Omnibus looks surprised. Seeing her so obviously shaken, I speak to her with conviction. With the touch of this pendant, my horologium will be transferred into the Philosopher's Stone, and if the stone is created, I will become a monster who spreads death. Once I become that, no one can stop me, not even your organization with all your unlimited powers. That's why you're so desperate to kill me, am I wrong? If you want to avoid that, I take a good look at Omnibus, then quietly but forcefully speak. I want you to accept my conditions. Let Saint Germain live. I know full well that what I'm suggesting right now is a horrible thing. This is a threat under the guise of a negotiation, but instead of bending to the threat... What's so funny?
それは脅しになっていないわね。
She returns my gaze levelly, still smiling.
わかっているのでしょ。
Because she'll kill Saint Germain too.
完全な怪物となれば、あなたはあらゆるものを殺し、あらゆるものから憎まれ、絶対の孤独の中でしか生きられなくなる。あなたはそれを心から恐れている。口ではどれだけ気丈を晴れても、実際の行動には移せないわ。
My hand holding the pendant starts shaking at Omnibus's words. I thought I had made up my mind to be willing to give my life into going into this, and yet I began to tremble.
あなたは怪物にはなれない。エレインとエティの不幸を繰り返すつもり？
At the mention of those names, my skin breaks out in goosebumps. I don't even have room in my mind to wonder how Omnibus even knows those names. My memories of the past when I was accused of being a monster burn in my heart. But The words escape from my mouth and I hold the pendant close to the horologium. Just bringing it slightly nearer causes the crystal in my chest to glow hotter and the pendant begins to shine.
本気なの？
I don't care if people hate me for being a monster. I don't care if I truly do become a monster. I don't care if the entire world is against me. The heat of the horologium is almost unbearable. The pain is extreme, like being skinned alive. How do you know what that feels like? Like every bone in my body is breaking, like my entire body is being rearranged. I struggle to stay on my feet and look at Omnibus speaking through gritted teeth. If you won't help Saint Germain, I'll become a monster and lead the world to destruction. But that includes killing Saint Germain. This really doesn't do anything besides lash out at her spitefully. But if you save Saint Germain, I'll shatter this horologium in my chest myself. Then you'll get what you want. Isn't that right, Omnibus?
ホロロギウムを砕く。あなたが死ぬということよ。
But Saint Germain will survive.
あなたはなぜそこまで。
She looks at me shocked and I turn to her with a gentle smile. Because Saint Germain said that my hands were warm.
まさかそれだけのことで、それで命を懸けようというの。
It's not something small, at least not to me. I look down at my fists and slowly narrow my eyes. When I first woke up, I was all by myself. All I had were my father's words and this poison-filled body. I didn't think I would ever get the chance to touch someone else. And even though Lupin promised me that he would help me do that, I didn't really believe him. But I touched my cheek with my own hand. Saint Germain touched my hand without hesitation, just as Saint Germain did. He was the only person in the world who accepted me despite me being the monster that I am. That's why even if I end up becoming a monster in seclusion, I can withstand the isolation just by thinking of the memory of that one warm touch. Don't underestimate me, Omnibus. I glare at her as I stand my ground against the excruciating pain. This is my limit. I can hear something in my body beginning to change, just as I'm thinking this.
わかったわ。
She sighs deeply.
あなたの言葉を飲みましょう、カルディア。まずはペンダントを離しなさい。でないと本当に取り返しのつかないことになってしまうわ。
I listen to her and snap the pendant away from myself. Suddenly I feel weak. I breathe heavily, refusing to fall, and lean against the table.
私としてはそう簡単にサンを許すわけにはいかないのだけど、あなたの覚悟は見届けたわ。だから一つ条件をつけましょう。
What is it?
ギネビアを倒してみなさい。そうすればサンの命をつないであげましょう。
We need to beat Guinevere?
ええ、私の予知通りならば、あなたとサンはギネビアには絶対に勝てない。
That's the thing about predictions. You never know if they're right.
最悪を導く予言が外れると言い張るなら、自力で証明してみせなさい。私の予言は外れるということを。サンはイデアを裏切り、死者を4人殺しているわ。無条件で許すことはできない。それにあなたがホロロギウムを自分で壊すという条件も譲れない。これが私ができる最大の譲歩。それでいいかしら、カルディア。
She shuts her mouth firmly and looks at me intently. You accept her terms, because if you reject her terms, it goes to a bad end. Oh, which I'm going to save. Dang it, I don't think I saved on the last bad end, which means I'm going to have to go through some work to get back to that spot. Oh well. A little bit extra work for the endings. Accept. Alright, I accept your terms. If that's what it takes to save Saint Germain, I'm not going to complain. It's actually an exceptional offer, considering the way I acted towards her. I nodded. Omnibus' gazes softened slightly. She truly looks like a grandmother watching her grandchild grow.
私からここまでの情報を引き出したのはあなたが初めてよ。それほど思われるなんて、サンは 幸せ者ね。ではこれからあなたをサンと引き合わせましょう。
What about the others? The instant Omnibus says this, the area around us become veiled in whiteness. By defeating Guinevere, we'll be able to overturn Omnibus's prediction. Even though I am faced with an impossible task, I can see Saint Germain. I can help him. And the others are going to be frantic to find you. These are the only thoughts that fill my head.
できるなら私の目に映る以外の未来もあるのだと証明してみせて。それは私にとっても救いなのだから。
Omnibus disappears into the whiteness, smiling. Please keep your promise.
ええ、神に誓って。
Hold on, Saint Germain. I'm coming. I quietly whisper this as the world around me fades to white. And we're like almost an hour and a half in, and there's still a lot left to do.
今のところギネビアが追いつく様子はない。私は橋の欄干に背を預けるとゆっくりと息を吐き出した。これでもうどれほどの間彼女と刃を交えているのだろうか。ギネビアは強い。知ってはいたが、やはり彼女は別格だ。正面から戦い続ければこちらが押されるのは必至。だから私はこうして地の利を生かして逃げ、隙を狙って戦うことしかできない。しかしそれももうすでに限界に近い状況だった。私は自らの血で赤く濡れた手のひらを見つめる。不死の力の残滓。肉体の再生が追いつかないところを見ると、その力ももう消えかかっているのだろう。やれやれ、困りましたね。ギネビア以外にも使徒はまだ大勢いるというのに。折れそうな心を支えながら私は拳を握る。ギネビアの命も数えきれないほど奪っている。彼女もその度に復活してはいるが、そろそろ限界が近づいてきているはずだ。あと少しのはず。どうかそれまで持ってくださいよ、私の体。私のそんな思いとは裏腹に、足はふらつき、視界はかすむ。そして私は欄干に背を預けたままずるずると座り込んでしまった。かすむ視界にはロンドンを象徴するタワーブリッジの異様が映っている。ギネビアから逃げながらここまで来てしまったが、最後の場がここになるとはなんとも皮肉な話だ。
Yeah, like I said, Tower Bridge is going to be a central point in Saint Germain's route. How does she expect Saint Germain to finish her off when he like can't even stand? Well, Omnibus doesn't expect it. She expects him to be killed.
ここは私にとって彼女のぬくもりに触れた場所。私が本当の素顔を取り戻した場所。そして彼女に別れを告げた場所。
And where you're going to find her one last time.
私の墓標にはふさわしいかもしれませんね。つい 弱音が唇から漏れた。結局私はあの時と何も変わっていなかったのかもしれない。彼だけはと誰かを救おうとして結局救うことができなかったあの人。誰も救えず誰も守れず、ただ死と苦しみだけを振りまいたあの人同じように、私はまた誰一人救えず誰一人守れないままか。
That's not true. A voice drips to my ears. You've always been there to save me. At first I think that my weakening heart is causing me to hallucinate. You've always protected me. But this voice, Saint Germain, I can never mistake the voice of the person I care about the most. I raise my head and find my beloved standing before me.
Cardia さん。
Bloody and tattered, Saint Germain looks at me in shock. Each and every wound he's suffered was undoubtedly strained to protect me. Sustained. Sorry. Saint Germain, you've been through so much. Tears well up in my eyes as I kneel down and scoop him into my arms. Saint Germain, he has been fighting ever since we parted ways. He did it just to protect me. Oh. I'm so glad that you're alive. So glad.
夢でも幻でもなく、本当にあなたなのですね、カルディアさん。
Yes, it's really me. The real me who loves you, Saint Germain. No. I hold him tighter. Tighter, as tightly as I can, to tell him that I would never let him go.
本当なら私はあなたを咎めるべきなのでしょうね。
Why should you be mad at her?
私があれだけの覚悟を込めて危険から遠ざけたというのに、なぜまた私のもとへ戻ってきたのですか。
That's... I try to find the right words for him, but Saint Germain gently shakes his head.
けれど今私はとても嬉しい。それこそ涙が出るようだ。今はただこのぬくもりだけでいい。
His pained sigh brushes my ear. His voice is soft yet determined when he whispers into my ear.
もう一度あなたに会いたかった。もう一度あなたの声を聞きたかった。この体が毒で溶け落ちようと、こうしてもう一度あなたを抱きしめたかった。
He looks at me kindly. I can hear his heart beating through our clothing. His heart is beating so strongly, this alone makes me very happy. I feel the same way. I wanted to be cross with you for abandoning me, but embracing you like this, I feel like no other words are necessary. Even if I'm a doll or monster, even if he's immortal or a phantom, we both belong right here. Just that makes me happier than I could ever believe.
本当に言葉はいらないのですか。
It's funny, even he laughs before he asks her that. He smiles weakly, but his words have a slight mischievous sound to them. I catch on to what he means and gently smile back at him. No, I don't want more words. I want to hear them coming from you.
愛していますよ。カルディア。
Aww. That's exactly what she wants to hear. I love you too. I gently pull myself away, then start to explain everything that has transpired, moved by my heightened emotions. I told him about how Lupin and the others have all been working to save him. We found Omnibus and I spoke with her. Everything. I mix in only one small lie.
ギネビアに勝てば私を助ける。オムニブスがそう言ったのですか。
Didn't tell the negotiated part. Yes, she promised me. I heard it with my own ears. It was unmistakable.
そうですか。まさかオムニブス相手に。
I purposefully don't tell him. She says she would save Saint Germain, but her condition was that I would have to destroy my own heart, the horologium with my own hands. Yeah, but it'll be fine. You'll find a way to live without it. You did in Victor's route. Saint Germain slowly gets to his feet.
ならばこの戦いまた一つ負けられない理由ができましたね。
Yay! New determination, fight!
二人で生きるためにギネビアを倒さなければ。
Yes, so we can live together. The single lie that I've told him stings my heart, but this is the best way for now. Saint Germain now has a resolute look in his eyes as he stares ahead at Tower Bridge. There she is! The figure wearing knightly armor stands there. The enemy that Omnibus has predicted that Saint Germain and I would never be able to defeat.
まさかこんなところまでサンを追いかけてくるとはね。
Guinevere stops in front of us and speaks quietly.
オムニブスから話は聞いたわ。まさか彼女を脅すなんて思い切ったことをするのね。
To threaten her, this must be news to Saint Germain. It was the only option I had to save Saint Germain. Guinevere takes a step towards us. Saint Germain steps forward as well, blocking her.
彼女は守ります。この私の命にかけて。
Even if your life depends on it, your life definitely depends on it.
思い合う二人を引き裂くのがこの私の役目とはね。
I know, right? It's really ironic.
運命の皮肉を感じるわ。
I can't tell what her expression is under her helmet. After a small sigh, Guinevere raises her huge sword. Yep, even if she doesn't want to, she has to obey. In response, Saint Germain holds out the sword he keeps hidden up his sleeve. Is it a sword though? I feel like it's a dagger. Saint Germain, you probably won't be able to fight well in your current condition. I don't know if I'll be much help, but I'll fight with you.
大丈夫。
What are you going to do? Melt her armor? Saint Germain gives me a smile, then turns to face Guinevere.
あなたの思いを無駄にしたくない。絶対に負けませんよ。
Immediately after that, Saint Germain disappears. Oh my gosh, we're back to this. I see sparks flying from the sword Guinevere is holding, and the sound of their impact reverberates through the air. He's got a lot of stamina left to be able to do all this after lying there on the bridge. Their battle is like a dance, a continuous back and forth between defense and offense. It's almost like a reenactment of the exchange that took place in the underground facility. However, if their power dynamics haven't changed at all since that day, I lose focus for a moment, lost in thought. Guinevere's huge sword knocks Saint Germain out of the way. Saint Germain! But he dodges her follow-up strike as if he already knew it was coming. Yeah, if you've been fighting for days, you can kind of predict each other's moves, probably. That's Victor's explosive. Oh, Victor's joined. Guinevere is caught in a fierce explosion as Saint Germain's sharp blade darts through the flames at a gap in her armor. The strike should have been fatal, but... Guinevere, who should have been killed, throws Saint Germain back. Saint Germain, are you alright? He did not look alright. I run towards him and he takes my hand as I help pull him back to his feet. It should have killed her. How many lives do you have left? Guinevere raises her enormous sword again as if nothing had happened. In contrast to Guinevere's readiness, Saint Germain falls to his knees. Saint Germain! Are you alright, Saint Germain? The sound of merciless footsteps approaches as I kneel at his side and hold him. It's not over until he's dead. He's not gonna let it be over. When I hear Guinevere's emotionless words, I look up at her and carefully lay Saint Germain on the ground. I slowly stand up. We haven't lost yet. I can fight too. I take off my glove and turn to face her. I'm going to burn you to death. Of course, I'll do anything to save Saint Germain. That's why I've come here. She muses with a hint of envy, then slowly lifts her giant sword. Then she stomps heavily on the pavement, causing a crack in the bridge, and vanishes from in front of me. Oh my goodness. Her attacks are instantaneous. I'm unable to dodge it, and the sword skims my shoulder. It skims your shoulder. I thought you couldn't dodge it. Although it barely hits me, the impact is so strong that I fall to the ground and roll for some distance. Ugh. The huge disparity between our strengths is almost laughable. Quick and painless. She turns away from me and begins walking towards Saint Germain. Saint Germain is still on the ground and seems unable to move at all. Saint Germain. I push myself forward, forcing my body up. I grab her sword, not even afraid of it cutting me. In that moment, a fierce cloud of smoke rises up, and part of her sword is melted away. I'm just as surprised as Guinevere. The poison's strength has increased exponentially. Oh my goodness. Why, it doesn't take me time to think before my answer arises in my mind. The Horologium is turning into the Philosopher's Stone. It's probably because I held the pendant so close to me when I had been speaking with Omnibus. Slowly, death approaches, only inches away. But still, I glare at Guinevere and spread my arms protectively in front of Saint Germain. Why does it say question mark? Like, we know who's talking. A figure steps forward from behind me. We know who it is. I don't understand. Saint Germain.
真摯にあるまじき行為です。
He grins mischievously and continues on.
私も一人の男として愛する女性のナイトを気取ってみたいんですよ。
This is what I mean by formal, gentlemanly behavior. I mean, I guess if he says it too, but the way he says it just makes it sound funny instead of noble. Guinevere, standing in opposition to him, speaks with a note of pity.
正気なのさん。もうあなたは持たないでしょ。
He's fighting to the death. Haven't you realized this yet?
それはお互い様ですよ、ギネビア。あなたの疲れももう限界を迎えているのでは。
Guinevere doesn't reply. She simply looks at Saint Germain from beneath her armor.
最後に教えてくれるかしら。あなたはなぜその子を守るの？
彼女を愛しているからですよ。
I mean, is it even a question? You should already know.
バカバカしいほどシンプルね。あなたの口から出たとは思えない。
I get the sense that Guinevere is smiling behind her armor.
では逆に聞きましょう、ギネビア。あなたはどうして彼女を殺そうというのです？
決まっているでしょ。彼女が最悪の鍵となるからよ。たとえ本人に罪がなくとも正しき歴史のためにその根を断つ。それがイデアの使命なのだから。
それこそあなたが言うべきセリフとも思えませんね。
But why can't you believe that? You were doing that just not too long ago. Saint Germain quietly narrows his eyes. When he speaks again, it's as if he is recalling something from the past.
あなたが安らかな死を捨ててまでイデアの使徒となったのは何のためです？
救いたい者がいたからよ。
Lancelot.
そう。かつてあなたは私の前で愛した男の救済を願った。それは罪を着せられた彼を救いたいと思ったからでしょう。そんなあなたが罪のないと分かっている者を殺そうというのですか
Guinevere hesitates for a moment, but she shakes her head and silently raises her weapon once more.
何もかも今更よ。今更私は剣を引けない。
We're going to finish this.
私はイデアの使徒、運命の担い手、歴史の導き手。サンジェルマン、正しき歴史の導きに従い、あなたを殺す。
Their eyes meet.
私はもうイデアの使徒ではありません。ただ一人の男として彼女を守りましょう。
The two of them leap at one another at the same time. They clash, each attempting to take the other's life, putting everything they have into a single blow. It's the same CG but with different background. Neither Saint Germain nor Guinevere, though her face is hidden under her armor, have any hatred towards the other. They simply live by different standards. All I can do is have faith that the man who's putting his life on the line will save me. It's so loud. Remaining steadfast to his conviction, Saint Germain swings his silver blade. Then both of them swing their weapons and they come to a complete stop. A single blow with all their might. A single blow to end it all, but who will the victor be? Speaking of Victor, I thought he was there. Saint Germain takes a staggering step and groans. I gasp. Saint Germain? No, not Saint Germain. I can't help but run towards him.
大丈夫
It's just a scratch.
かすり傷ですよ
Whatever. You're bleeding so much. And Guinevere? Guinevere turns to face us. Her eyes seem to narrow behind her visor upon seeing Saint Germain and I leaning against each other. It's as if she was being reminded of a memory from long ago. With just this, she slowly topples to the ground. Did you win? I'm in shock as Saint Germain nods.
まさに首の皮一枚といったところですがまだ終わりではありません
He sighs heavily, then walks over to Guinevere with great determination. Saint Germain? He extends his blade from his sleeve once more, then silently points it at the armored woman. It shines coldly in the night.
確実に彼女を処理する必要がありますオムニブスの言葉を疑うわけではありませんが条件である勝利の定義は定められていませんでしたから
A cold light shines in his eyes. In a moment, he will likely run Guinevere through with his sword. More blood spilled, more lives lost. All because of my selfishness, but it can't be right. Just as Saint Germain said, what we had to do to defeat Guinevere was never spelled out, but we have won this battle. That is an undeniable fact. As of now, Saint Germain's survival should be assured. So there's no reason for Guinevere to lose her life. Saint Germain, wait. There's something important I need to tell you.
後で聞きますよ今はまず目の前の脅威を
It's kind of important, though. Please listen. My words are quiet but forceful. Perhaps that's why Saint Germain seems to pick up on something and carefully stows his blade as he turns back to me. You see, I will have to go away very soon. I promised Omnibus. I try my best to keep my voice from trembling while I piece together my words.
ですから私たちが二人で生きるために
We can't.
無理とは
I couldn't bring myself to tell you there are actually two conditions that need to be met to ensure your survival. The first being that you defeat Guinevere, and the second is for me to destroy the Horologium with my own hands. I can't keep my voice from trembling when the truth comes out. I feel as if all the warmth is leaving my body. Now, more than ever, now that Saint Germain's and my hearts are one, I'm afraid to die. The conclusion that I had wished for is right before me, but I'm afraid to take that final step.
何をホロロギウムを壊せばあなたは死んでしまう
I know.
あなたは私を生かすために自ら死ぬというのですか
That's right. I can't stand the pain in Saint Germain's eyes, and I begin to talk as if trying to distract him from it all. You risk your life so many times for me. I continue speaking clumsily, hoping to make his pain go away. I love you. All that matters to me is that you're alive. See, how does it feel to have it turned around back on you? You said this to her when you went to go destroy all the apostles, saying that you're going to die in the process, and now she's saying it to you. Now you know how she felt. So don't look at me like that, Saint Germain. The sadness is so overpowering that the smile I try to force on my face is completely ruined.
そんなこと納得できるわけが。
This is like Romeo and Juliet. You both are destined to die. One can't live without the other. If one's gonna die, the other's gonna die too.
納得できるわけがないじゃないですか。
Saint Germain shouts in agony. Because the emotion in his words is so great, it makes the silence that follows all the more deafening. It's as if the silence is a reflection of our despair. I hear the sound of a wheelchair. There she is. I stiffen as Saint Germain steps forward to protect me.
終わったようね。
Was the Guinevere condition met? In a moment, Omnibus appears in front of us. Oh. So does she bring witnesses? That's what I'm guessing. And several figures are standing behind her. All of them are wearing deeply hooded robes hiding their faces completely.
バカな。このタイミングで他の人まで。
Surprise! You have to fight all of them now. What? I freeze at Saint Germain's words.
逃げてください。カルディアさん。
She's probably gonna just make sure that you keep your word. As Saint Germain steps forward, I grab his hand and I shake my head.
カルディアさん。
He probably knows too. If he tries to fight now, the results are obvious. It's just time for me to keep my promise. Omnibus signals for the figures behind her to stay put as slowly approaches us.
いい判断ね。この場において逃亡も戦闘も行き着く先はどちらも同じよ。
She wears her usual smile, which almost feels kindly in these circumstances. I search for the right words, trying to hide my fears so that Saint Germain won't sense how scared I am. So you've come here to ensure that I break the horologium. Omnibus silently nods. Yep. Keep your end of the promise first. We defeated Guinevere as promised. Save him. Save Saint Germain.
何よりも彼のことを優先するの。本当にけなげね。
She begins to speak with a touch of kindliness.
サム、彼女との約束よ。私はあなたを生きながらえさせる。
待ってください。彼女の命と引き換えの救済など私は。こんなこと私は望みません。私は彼女の幸せのために。
Saint Germain tries to approach Omnibus.
この交渉にあなたの意思は関係ないわ。
Wow, that's harsh. However, the other apostles see Saint Germain and throw him to the ground, pinning him there.
話してください。話せと言ってるんだ。
Saint Germain has lost all of his usual grace at this moment, but it's Saint Germain's desperation that removes any fear from my heart. Saint Germain, thank you. I would happily die for you. My trembling has ceased, and I'm able to smile naturally. That I was even capable of having the emotion to return your love, that by itself makes me so happy. I can say with complete confidence that I'm not a monster or a doll. I'm a human being able to love another person. You saying all this is just going to make him even more sad. Like, I can't imagine fighting for her all this time, and then she's like turning around and saying, I know I'm not a monster. I was just able to love you, and it's just like, you're making it worse. You're making the fact that he has to lose you even worse.
カルディアさん。
As soon as I finish speaking, Omnibus carefully places her hand over Saint Germain. Saint Germain's body glows faintly, and his wounds begin to disappear one by one.
サン、彼女に感謝なさい。今、あなたに今一度生を与えた。とはいえ、イデアを離れるのだから、それも限りある命よ。治癒や再生能力は残してあげる。限りある生を必ず最後まで全うし、彼女の恩義に報いなさい。
Omnibus glances at Saint Germain as the apostles release him, then she hands me a beautifully ornate dagger. It's a strange knife with a blade that gives off a faint white glow.
それでホロロギウムを一つきなさい。そうすればすべてが終わるから。
Alright. I look over at Saint Germain in an attempt to bid him farewell, but he simply looks down limply. His silence hurts a little, but I sigh, then hold the dagger out in front of me. I point the blade at the horologium. Goodbye, thank you, and I love you, Saint Germain. I pull the dagger towards me without hesitation. However, what happened? Blood drips to the ground. But it's not mine. Saint Germain, why? The blood is running from Saint Germain's hand where he grabbed the dagger's blade.
私にはもう何が正しいのかわからない。この手が犯した多くの罪の贖い方も、正義のありどころも、私自身のあり方も、何一つわからない。けれど、はっきりしていることがただ一つだけあります。何をしても、どんなことがあっても、私はあなたを失いたくない。
His hand continues to bleed. The vivid scarlet shocks me and I accidentally drop the dagger. It falls to the ground. Uh-oh. What happens next is what I would expect. The apostles surround us instantly.
そう。それなら、私たちが直接手を下すしかないわね。
It's not because she went back on her deal. It's because Saint Germain stopped her.
待ってください。殺さないでください。
聞けないわ。
もう少しだけ時間をください。
He cries desperately.
必ず彼女がホロロギウムなしでも生きられる手段を探し出します。ホロロギウムを壊すのはそれからでも遅くないかと。お願いです。彼女を私から奪わないでください。お願いします。
He is begging. His usual calm, collected demeanor is nowhere to be seen. This is the first time I've ever seen Saint Germain so desperate.
私から彼女を奪わないでください。やっと見つけた大切な人なんです。私の生きる意味なんです。お願いします。オムニブス。
Tears stream down his own cheeks. Omnibus stares intently at him. I'm the luckiest person in the world to be loved so deeply by someone. I'm about to stop Saint Germain to tell him that he doesn't have to do this.
私からもお願いできませんか、オムニブス。
This is where I cried, hearing the pain in his voice. Her voice is quiet but clear. I look over to see a beautiful woman in armor with her helmet off, Guinevere. The sorrow in her expression, it makes it hard to believe that this is the same person who has so viciously been fighting Saint Germain earlier. Her eyes, colored with sadness, fall upon me.
あなたの予言は絶対のもの。人を救済へと導く唯一のもの。しかし、彼女はあなたの予言を打ち破りました。彼女にだけはあなたの予言を否定する権利があるように思えるのです。
Omnibus neither agrees nor disagrees and closes her eyes. Then she sighs deeply and slowly.
カルディア、あなたに問うわ。あなたはどうしたい？
What do I want? There is no question about it. No question, but if I tell her, will she already know what will become of my desires? I want... I can die for him. That's the truth, but I know somewhere in my mind that this will not lead to his happiness, and if he and I both love each other the same amount, just as my happiness is his happiness, I feel that my voice may be too soft, but the soft voice seems to wake something within my heart. Live. Putting it into words makes it into an undeniable hope. I look straight at Omnibus. Strangely, her all-seeing gaze doesn't frighten me now. I don't care what lies ahead of us. I want to live. I want to live alongside with Saint Germain. I answer her with total honesty. Omnibus narrows her eyes. She seems like she is remembering something from the distinct past.
では、やってみなさい。
I remember Saint Germain begging a whole lot more than this. Maybe I was just too busy crying in between his pleas the first time I read this. Her voice sounds far away. It doesn't feel like any of my wish has been granted.
あなたがホロロギウムなしでも生きられる方法を必死で探してみなさい。
Are you sure? I timidly ask her.
ギネビアとサンを相手にすれば使徒はますます数を減らすでしょう。
Yeah, I guess so. If Guinevere is going against you too, you're going to lose everyone.
イデアとしてもこれ以上の損害は困るわ。
While her words seem to imply cold calculation, I sense a different sort of emotion emanating from her.
けれどホロロギウムの破壊が不可能だと分かった時には私は改めてあなたたちを狙うでしょう。その覚悟は当然あるのでしょう。
Although I hesitate, I gently take Saint Germain's hand. At first my grip is weak, but my hands hold him tighter and tighter as I savor this newfound hope.
カルディアさん。
I know. We both see the same light in each other's eyes.
この世界にとってあなたたちという存在が何を生み出すのか今しばらくの間見守らせてもらうわ。
After she says this, Omnibus becomes a blur no longer clearly visible. Then she melts into the darkness and disappears. The other apostles become blurs as well and vanish into the darkness. Then even Guinevere, who had remained until the end, slowly begins to disappear. Guinevere, thank you for helping us.
私は真実を話しただけよ。あなたを殺そうとした私が言うのもおかしな話ではあるけれど、私も オムニブスと同じ。あなたたちが幸せになれれば、私も少し救われる気がするから。
Then she vanishes as well. The two of us are left alone on Tower Bridge. I can see the sun rising along the horizon. We look at one another and I notice something. I hastily pick up my gloves and put them back on. Then Saint Germain smiles and gently pulls me towards him. The rising sun is quick to chase the darkness away, giving us light. The sun brings with it a new day for London. We lean against each other, feeling one another's presence ever more strongly as we stand in the morning light. You're not standing, you're laying on the bridge again.
律儀ですね。わざわざ手袋を拾うとは。
I didn't want to get carried away in my happiness and accidentally melt you. That's cute. Was that funny?
いいえ。嬉しいだけです。今この瞬間、あなたを近くに感じられることが。数千年生きてきた中、これほど素晴らしい朝を私は経験したことがありません。
Oh, that's so cute.
私はこれからこうやってあなたと生きていきたい。あなたと一緒に美しいものをたくさん見たい。あなたと一緒に歩む道の先を見たい。愛するあなたとずっとどこまでも二人で。
His words are filled with warmth. He probably has a smile on his face right now. Not the mysterious dark smile from when we first met, but a smile as warm as the rising sun and overflowing with joy. We don't get like a CG of like a bigger picture. I wasn't going to use that one anyway. That looks like it ending CG. Since my last thing that I did for this song didn't work for the copyright, I'm going to just ignore it.
張り詰めた心の糸優しくほどけてく柔らかな日差しにただ愛されてるみたい We flowers into colors ephemerally soft tree love from me some eternal petals この世界がもし幻想でも思いを込めた花冠をあなたの笑顔に捧げましょうありがとう Thank you for your love
Such a beautiful image. We're going to save that for while we do our closing thoughts. I'm going to talk while we have the chirping in the background for the happy end, which is not going to be until next episode. But anyway, so that is the emotional roller coaster of Saint Germain's Route. Let me know if it made you guys as emotional as it made me. Even going back, I think the last chapter made me more emotional than this one. Only because I feel like that him pleading with her lasted a whole lot longer than it actually did. It's probably because, And probably because it took me so long just to read each one. I just wanted to linger on his words and really, really take them in. It moves me so much whenever I hear voice actors put that much effort into their lines. I can only think of one other person not sounding as desperate as him, but having a huge emotional impact on the way that they speak, which affects me, which is Nicole from My Next Life as a Villainess. Whenever he was talking to her about what he had to do for the witch, it just broke my heart. But now we are done with Saint Germain's roots, and now they have to go through the fan disc trying to figure out how they're going to live without the horologium. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be solved in the happy ending. This is just after the fact. They get to live some peaceful days together. The fan disc is good, and it ends some of the stories that don't get a full ending in this game. So let me know if you guys want me to do the fan disc after this, because I totally can. I actually have a desire to read it now that we're done with this. And like I said before, I'll probably do some recordings on the side and just, I don't know, finish up some roots, I guess. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want me to or not. I got a little bit of insight for the Cupid Parasite fan disc from a person who is a YouTuber who's actually playing it right now because it's in Japanese. And she goes, let's just say if you're thinking of picking this up, pick it up for the right reasons, aka for the wacky what the hell is happening vibe, more than for its spice and cute romance. So apparently there's not a whole lot of romance in the fan disc, which there usually isn't in most fan discs, but so I don't know. Like that is the reason I would want to pick it up, because it looks funny. But I will probably do a poll actually. Fan disc of this aside, if you guys want me to do the fan disc on this, I totally will. But for next game, I think I will do another poll, Amnesia versus Cupid Parasite, since Amnesia was my second most voted on the last poll before Code Realize, and just see what you guys have to say about that. And I'm totally fine going either way. I feel like Amnesia is going to be kind of dark and depressing like this too. I kind of, just by watching the anime, that's the vibes I got for the game. So I don't, and then in the poll, I'll list the synopsis of each one too, so you guys have an idea of what each game is about without having to go and look it up for yourself. But I am excited to get the endings of Saint Germain out there, and then we can move on to Lupin's, which is the true root of the whole game. It has Finis. Finis doesn't die at the end of chapter 8 like he does in almost every other route. He's there. He is a antagonist in Lupin's. You finally get to see what is Finis's deal in this whole thing. I don't have much else to say other than that, so if you guys enjoyed this episode, drop a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more of content like this, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.